Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. here in Cairo. Time for the news bulletin. My name is Amal Mukhtar. I have all the pleasure to be joined with my colleague Lamia Abdel-Sattar. Lamia.
Thank you, Amal. Good afternoon, dear viewers. Start our news bulletin with the headlines. The Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, President Sisi, chairs SCAF meeting on national security. Prime Minister Madbouli inspects development projects in the New Valley.
Welcome back. The news in detail. The Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, have said today that the consecutive developments and volatile conditions in the region assert the necessity of working for preserving the homeland security, continuing the comprehensive development drive and intensifying efforts for maintaining fair and lasting peace. The President made these remarks as he presided over a meeting with a number of military commanders at the Strategic Command headquarters in the new administrative capital in the attendance of the General Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of Defense and Military Production, General Abdel Majid Saqra. President Sisi hailed the Armed Forces' efforts for protecting the Egyptian border line against any possible threats. The meeting touched on the latest regional and international developments and the impact of the Middle East security and stability.
Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli today asserted Egypt's unprecedented keen interest in promoting the higher education and scientific research system, pointing out to the notable increase in national universities over the past years. The Prime Minister made these remarks in an inspection tour at the New Valley University, along with other educational facilities in Al Kharga city. Madbouli also made a stop at the International Camel and Horses Club, noting that the state attaches a top priority to Egyptian sports being a key factor in building young generations. He gave the green light for launching the International Camel Racing, Marathon and Rallying at the club. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister and his escorts visited a hereditary village that comprises an integrated exhibition of different handcrafts in various governorates nationwide.
At the start of his tour at the New Valley Governorate, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, his field visit comes as part of his keenness to get a first-hand knowledge of the past of the work at various development projects aiming to upgrade the quality of the public services. Madbouli said that targeting the New Valley in particular comes in light of the city's importance, being a border governorate of a unique location and promising potential, which help launching comprehensive development there. During the tour, the Prime Minister said he will be opening and inspecting a number of development projects in many sectors and is set to witness a set of prominent activities in the governorate.
Minister of Foreign Migration and Egyptian Expatriates Affairs Badr Abdelati said today that he carries a letter from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, on pushing forward bilateral ties in different fields. The minister made these remarks upon arrival in the Congolese capital, Kinshasa, at the start of an official visit to the African country. The visit sees Egypt's top diplomat meeting with his senior Congolese officials, including his counterpart, for political consultations on a number of important regional and international files of mutual concern. The visit will in particular focus on boosting bilateral ties in different fields and economic cooperation as well.
Well, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs Badr Abdelati said today that Egypt looks forward to enhancing its economic cooperation with Azerbaijan and also boosting partnership between the private sectors of both countries. The top diplomat made these remarks as he received a phone call from Azerbaijan's Foreign Minister Ceyhun Bayramov, where he lauded the continued promotion of bilateral ties on all levels and hoped to build on the visit by high-ranking officials from the two countries.
International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants today for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his former defense minister, accusing them of war crimes and crimes against humanity over the genocide war in Gaza. The decision turns Netanyahu and the others into internationally wanted suspects and is likely to further isolate them and complicate efforts to negotiate a ceasefire to end the 13-month unprecedented Israeli occupation aggression against the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Occupation Authority has rejected the jurisdiction of the Hague-based court and denies war crimes in Gaza.
The Israeli occupation military bombed at least 5 crowded homes in northern Gaza's town of Beit-Lahia early today, with many casualties.
The U.S. Senate has voted overwhelmingly to block 3 resolutions that would have halted the transfer of some U.S. weapons to the Israeli Occupation Authority, introduced by progressives concerned about the human rights catastrophe faced by Palestinians in Gaza. 79 of the 100 senators voted against advancing a resolution that would have blocked sales of tank rounds to the Occupation Authority, while 18 approved it and 1 voted present. The UN said that most of Gaza's population has been displaced and the enclave is at risk of famine more than a year into the Israeli occupation genocide war against Palestinians.
Well, renewed heavy strikes hit Hezbollah's southern Beirut stronghold today after the Israeli occupation forces warned people to evacuate the area. Also today, Hezbollah said it fired missiles at a military base near South Israel's Ashdod, the first time it has targeted so deep inside Israel in more than a year of hostilities. Earlier, the occupation forces that a soldier was killed in South Lebanon, bringing to 50 the losses of the occupation forces in Lebanon since the start of ground operations.
Hezbollah's leader Naim Qassem delivered a defiant speech saying that the Israeli Occupation Authority cannot impose conditions for a truce in Lebanon, as visiting U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein headed to Israel to try to negotiate an end to the war. Qassem added that his group sought a complete and comprehensive end to the occupation aggression and the preservation of Lebanon's sovereignty. He also vowed that the response to recent deadly Israeli occupation strikes on Beirut would be on central Tel Aviv. Hochstein had said in Beirut that he would head to Israel on Wednesday to try to seal a ceasefire agreement in the war in Lebanon, which escalated in late September after nearly a year of deadly exchanges of fire across the northern border along the genocide war in Gaza.
Russia have announced today that it is ready to consider any realistic peace initiative on the conflict in Ukraine, which takes into account Moscow's own interests and the situation on the ground. The Russian Foreign Ministry said that Moscow is open to discussing a Ukraine ceasefire deal with Donald Trump. However, Russia rules out making any major territorial concessions and insists Kyiv abandon ambitions to join NATO.
On the ground, Ukraine announced that Russia launched an intercontinental ballistic missile from its southern Astrakhan region during a morning attack on the country, the first time Russia has used such a powerful long-range missile during the war. The strike comes after Ukraine used US and British missiles to strike targets inside Russia this week, something Moscow had warned for months would be seen as a major escalation. The Russian attack targeted enterprises and critical infrastructure in the central eastern city of Dnipro at a time of escalating moves in the 33-month-old war launched by Russia in Ukraine. The missiles have a range of thousands of kilometers and can be used for delivering nuclear warheads, though they can also have conventional warheads.
Now with the economy news, as Egypt's markets was higher at mid-dealings today, boosted by purchases by local investors against sell-offs by Arab and foreign investors and Arab corporations. The market capital of listed companies reached £2.2 trillion at the transactions of £2.6 billion. The benchmark index, EGX 30, rose 0.53% above the 30,585-point mark. The equal-weighted indices, EGX 70 and EGX 100, climbed 0.2% and 0.9% respectively.
Oil prices rose today on supply concerns triggered by the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. Brent crude futures firmed about 1% to $73.61, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 1.3% at $69.63. As for the precious metal gold, prices were on the rise for a fourth straight session on safe asset demands. Spot gold rose 0.6% at $2,665 per ounce.
Now with the sports news, as Cairo's Al-Ahli will host Al-Ittihad Al-Secondary tomorrow at Al Salam Stadium in the Egyptian Premier League third round. Al-Ahli will miss Palestinian striker Wissam Abu Ali for injuries sustained during his participation with the Palestinian national football team in the 2026 Asia World Cup qualifiers. The Reds have won the two previous encounters against Ceramic Cleopatra and ZFC in the first and second rounds of Premier League.
By this, dear viewers, we come to the end of our news. You were in the company of my colleague Amal Mukhtar and myself, Lamia Abdel Sattar. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Amal.
Thank you, Lamia. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching.